At some point in life, the question changes. It stops being, what can I achieve? And becomes, what will remain because I lived? Money can be spent. Titles can be replaced. Positions can be filled. But impact echoes. The way you help someone. The way you guide someone. The way you stand for something. Legacy is not built at the end of life. It is built daily, in how you treat people, in what you contribute, in what you teach, in what you choose to support. Real fulfillment begins when success becomes shared. The final 10 goals are not about accumulation. They are about contribution. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Building a habit of generosity. Generosity is not a transaction. It is a posture. It is the quiet decision to move through life, asking not only, what do I gain, but also, what can I give? And contrary to what many believe, generosity does not begin when you become wealthy. It begins when you become aware. Aware that your resources, time, money, knowledge, encouragement, can create meaningful change beyond your immediate circle. When giving becomes habitual rather than occasional, your life shifts from accumulation to contribution. Most people treat generosity as an emotional impulse. They give when moved by a story, a crisis, or a public appeal. While emotional generosity is valuable, it is inconsistent. A habit of generosity requires structure. It requires intention. Instead of waiting to feel inspired, you pre-decide to give regularly. Monthly contributions, scheduled support, automatic transfers. When generosity is systemized, it stops depending on mood and starts reflecting values. The amount matters less than the consistency. Many hesitate to give because they believe their contribution is too small to matter. But impact compounds. 10 small acts repeated over years create greater change than one large act performed once. Regular giving creates steady support for causes that matter. It also shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who contributes. Identity influences behavior more powerfully than occasional emotion. Alignment is essential. Give to causes that reflect your core values. Education, health, poverty alleviation, environmental sustainability, community development. When your giving aligns with what you genuinely care about, it becomes meaningful rather than obligatory. Research organizations carefully. Understand how funds are utilized. Responsible generosity increases effectiveness. Generosity is not limited to money. Financial giving is one expression, but there are others equally powerful. Sharing expertise with someone who lacks access. Supporting a friend through a difficult transition. Funding a student's exam fee quietly. Offering resources without expectation of recognition. True generosity often operates invisibly. There is also psychological transformation in giving. When you contribute intentionally, scarcity thinking weakens. Scarcity focuses on what you lack. Generosity reminds you of what you have. This shift changes your relationship with abundance. You begin operating from sufficiency rather than fear. Paradoxically, giving strengthens confidence because it reinforces your capacity to create value. However, generosity must be wise. Emotional decisions without evaluation can reduce effectiveness. Not every request deserves a yes. Discernment protects sustainability. Define criteria. Which causes align? Which requests create real impact? Boundaries ensure that generosity remains consistent rather than reactive and draining. Teaching children and younger individuals the habit of giving multiplies impact generationally. When generosity becomes part of family culture, it strengthens character. Children who observe conscious giving develop empathy early. They understand that success includes responsibility. Public generosity can inspire others, but intention matters. If visibility encourages collective action, it serves purpose. If visibility seeks validation, it dilutes authenticity. Examine motivation honestly. Give primarily for impact, not applause. Financial planning should incorporate giving. Allocate a defined percentage of income for contribution. Treat it as non-negotiable. When giving becomes integrated into budgeting, it transitions from optional to essential. This integration strengthens discipline. Small daily generosity also matters. Paying attention when someone speaks. Offering appreciation. Providing encouragement. Generosity of spirit builds emotional connection. Not all impact is monetary. Resilience strengthens through generosity. During difficult times, contributing to others can restore perspective. It reminds you that your challenges, while significant, are part of a broader human experience. Helping someone else often reduces internal rumination. Long-term generosity builds legacy quietly. Over years, consistent contributions support institutions, individuals, and ideas that outlast you. Scholarships funded, programs sustained, family supported. You may never witness full results. That does not diminish significance. Generosity also requires humility. You are not rescuing others. You are participating in collective improvement. Respect dignity. Avoid condescension. True giving empowers rather than diminishes. Accountability enhances effectiveness. Periodically review your giving impact. Are the organizations transparent? Are results measurable? Adjust if necessary. Intentional review ensures that generosity remains strategic. As income grows, increase contribution proportionally. Avoid lifestyle inflation consuming all gains. Expansion of resources should expand impact. Gratitude and generosity reinforce each other. When you appreciate what you have, sharing becomes natural. When you share consistently, gratitude deepens. Ultimately, generosity shifts the question from personal advancement to collective improvement. It expands your perspective beyond individual success. When you look back years from now, achievements may blur, but the lives you touched, the opportunities you enabled, the burdens you eased, those endure. Build the habit deliberately. Schedule it. Protect it. Increase it gradually. Let generosity become part of your identity, not an occasional act. Because when giving becomes consistent, contribution becomes inevitable. And when contribution becomes inevitable, your life extends beyond personal milestones into lasting impact. Chapter 2. Volunteering time and skill. Money is powerful, but time is irreplaceable. When you give money, you offer a resource. When you give time, you offer a part of your life. Volunteering is one of the most direct forms of contribution because it requires presence. It requires effort. It requires involvement. And in a world where many people are busy building personal success, choosing to pause and serve creates profound meaning. Time is the one asset that cannot be recovered. Once spent, it does not return. That is precisely why volunteering carries weight. When you dedicate hours to supporting a cause, mentoring a student, assisting a local initiative, or contributing to a community effort, you communicate something powerful. This matters enough for me to show up. Volunteering also changes you. It shifts perspective. When you step into environments outside your normal routine, community shelters, educational programs, environmental cleanups, social outreach initiatives, you witness realities different from your own. Perspective builds humility. Humility builds gratitude. And gratitude strengthens fulfillment. Many people delay volunteering because they believe they must have extra time. But waiting for free time often means waiting forever. Contribution requires scheduling. Just as you allocate hours for work or exercise, allocate hours for service. Even 1 hour per week creates measurable impact over months and years. Consistency outweighs intensity. Skill-based volunteering amplifies effectiveness. Your professional abilities are valuable beyond your career. If you understand finance, help someone build budgeting skills. If you are skilled in technology, assist local organizations in digital organization. If you are strong in communication, support awareness campaigns. When volunteering aligns with your strengths, impact multiplies. Service builds character. It teaches patience. It exposes you to different personalities and circumstances. It demands adaptability. These traits strengthen personal development alongside contribution. You're not only helping others, you are refining yourself. Volunteering also expands networks organically. You meet individuals who value contribution. Conversations shift from competition to collaboration. Community grows around shared purpose. This environment reinforces positive identity. There's also psychological benefit in service. Research consistently shows that helping others reduces stress and increases life satisfaction. When you contribute, your focus shifts outward. Personal worries feel less overwhelming. Meaning increases. However, volunteering must be intentional. Random involvement without commitment can dilute effectiveness. Choose causes aligned with your values. Commit long enough to create continuity. Sporadic participation is helpful, but sustained engagement builds deeper impact. Service requires reliability. If you commit to an initiative, honor your schedule. Others may depend on your presence. Reliability builds trust within organizations and communities. Trust strengthens collective progress. Boundaries remain important. Volunteering should not lead to burnout. Protect balance. Serve consistently without neglecting personal responsibilities. Sustainable contribution requires energy management. Encourage family participation. Volunteering together strengthens relationships while building shared values. Children who observe service internalize empathy. They understand that contribution is normal, not exceptional. Technology enables remote volunteering as well. Tutoring online, providing digital mentorship, supporting global initiatives from home. Service no longer requires geographical proximity. Intent matters more than location. Recognize that impact may not always be visible immediately. Change often unfolds slowly. A student you mentor today may express gratitude years later. A community initiative you support may expand gradually. Patience sustains motivation. Avoid seeking recognition. True service operates quietly. Appreciation may come, but it should not be the driving force. When contribution becomes intrinsic, fulfillment remains stable regardless of applause. Evaluate periodically. Is your involvement creating measurable benefit? Are your skills being utilized effectively? Adjust roles if necessary. Strategic volunteering maximizes value. Leadership often emerges naturally within service environments. As you demonstrate commitment, others may look to you for coordination or guidance. Accept responsibility when appropriate. Leadership within service multiplies impact. There will be moments of frustration, organizational inefficiencies, resource limitations, slow progress. View these as part of collective effort. Problem solving within service strengthens resilience. Volunteering also deepens understanding of systemic issues. Direct exposure reveals complexities beyond headlines. Awareness increases empathy and informed decision-making. Contribution through time builds legacy differently than financial giving. It leaves memories. Faces remember you. Stories include you. Your presence becomes part of collective history. Ultimately, volunteering reminds you that success is not measured solely by personal milestones. It is measured by shared progress, by the stability you help create, by the opportunities you help enable. Commit intentionally. Serve consistently. Align service with skill. Protect balance. Encourage others to join. Over time, the hours you dedicate will accumulate into something meaningful. Not just for those you help, but for who you become. Because when you give your time and skill deliberately, you do more than assist. You participate in shaping a community stronger than yourself. and that participation becomes part of your enduring impact. Chapter 3: Becoming a Mentor to Others. Experience is one of the most valuable assets you will ever accumulate. Years of effort, mistakes survived, lessons learned, patterns recognized, hard-earned clarity. But experience reaches its highest value only when it is shared. Mentorship transforms private growth into public contribution. It shortens someone else's learning curve. It prevents avoidable mistakes. It accelerates confidence. And in doing so, it multiplies impact beyond your individual achievements. At some point, the question shifts from how do I succeed to how do I help someone else succeed faster? Mentorship begins at that moment. It is not about superiority. It is not about control. It is about guidance. It is about standing slightly ahead on the path and extending your hand backward. You do not need decades of expertise to become a mentor. You simply need experience in an area someone else is navigating for the first time. A college student can mentor a high school student. A working professional can guide a fresher entering the workforce. A business owner can advise someone launching their first project. Mentorship is relative to context. The first responsibility of a mentor is listening. Many believe mentorship is about giving advice constantly. In reality, it begins with understanding. Ask questions. What are their goals? What fears are limiting them? What skills do they lack? Listening builds trust. Trust creates openness. Without trust, advice feels imposed rather than supportive. Mentorship requires patience. Growth does not occur instantly. The mentee may repeat mistakes you once made. Resist frustration. Remember your own learning curve. Guidance is not control. You provide direction. They choose action. Respect autonomy. Share failures openly. Too often, success stories are polished. But polished stories hide the real lessons. Speak honestly about mistakes, doubts, setbacks, and recovery. Transparency humanizes growth. It reassures men that struggle is normal, not shameful. Provide structure. Encourage goal setting. Help them define actionable steps. Break large ambitions into manageable tasks. Mentorship is not abstract encouragement. It is practical support. Accountability strengthens progress. Periodic check-ins reinforce commitment. Ask about milestones. Review results. Adjust plans. Consistency in mentorship builds momentum. Avoid creating dependency. The purpose of mentorship is empowerment. Gradually shift decision-making responsibility back to the mentee. Ask guiding questions instead of providing direct answers. Encourage independent thinking. Mentorship also sharpens your own clarity. Teaching requires articulation. When you explain concepts, you refine your understanding. When you answer questions, you revisit foundational principles. Mentorship deepens mastery. Encourage resilience. When setbacks occur, help them interpret challenges constructively. Reframe failure as feedback. Teach problem-solving rather than avoidance. Offer opportunities where possible. Introduce them to networks. Recommend resources. Suggest internships or projects. Exposure expands growth pathways. Model integrity. Your behavior teaches more than your words. Reliability, discipline, empathy, professionalism. These traits influence men subconsciously. Demonstrate what you advise. Respect boundaries. Mentorship is guidance, not interference in personal autonomy. Maintain professionalism and clarity in expectations. Celebrate progress. Recognition reinforces confidence. Acknowledge improvements, not just outcomes. Growth is incremental. Encourage skill diversification. Expose men to practical competencies, communication, financial literacy, time management, emotional regulation. Holistic guidance prepares them for complexity. Be honest but constructive. Sugarcoating weaknesses limits growth. Deliver feedback respectfully and clearly. Balance encouragement with correction. Mentorship multiplies impact generationally. Those you guide may one day mentor others. Wisdom passes forward. Influence expands beyond your direct contact. Stay accessible but balanced. Protect your time. Sustainable mentorship requires energy management. Quality matters more than quantity. Learn from your ments as well. Their perspectives reflect changing environments. Mutual learning strengthens connection. Recognize that not every mentorship will flourish. Some individuals may lack commitment. Invest where receptivity exists. Over time, you may witness transformation. Confidence replacing doubt. Competence replacing confusion. Leadership emerging from uncertainty. Watching someone grow because you invested in them creates a unique fulfillment that personal achievement alone cannot replicate. Mentorship becomes part of legacy quietly. Years later, someone may say, "You helped me when I needed direction." That sentence carries weight. It represents compounded influence. Commit intentionally. Identify someone who could benefit from your experience. Offer guidance. Schedule conversations. Share lessons. Encourage growth. Because success multiplied through others creates significance beyond personal milestones. When your experience becomes someone else's advantage, your life extends beyond individual progress into shared advancement. And that shared advancement becomes lasting impact. Chapter 4. Sharing knowledge publicly. Knowledge gains power when it moves. Information stored privately benefits one person. Information shared strategically benefits many. At some point in life, you accumulate insights that are no longer meant only for you. Lessons learned through struggle. Frameworks developed through experience. Clarity gained through repetition. Sharing knowledge publicly transforms personal growth into collective advancement. Public contribution does not require a global platform. It requires willingness. You can write articles, speak at local events, create educational content, host small workshops, mentor in groups, record short videos, publish thoughtful reflections. The scale matters less than the intention. What matters is distribution. Many hesitate to share because they doubt their authority. They think they must become the absolute expert before speaking. But perfection delays contribution. If your knowledge can help someone one step behind you, it is valuable. Waiting for flawless mastery postpones impact indefinitely. Start with clarity. What topics do you understand deeply? What mistakes have you navigated successfully? What systems have improved your life? Identify these areas. Structure your insights into practical frameworks. Clarity increases usefulness. When sharing publicly, precision matters. Avoid vague inspiration. Provide actionable steps. Instead of saying work harder, explain how structure focused work sessions. Instead of saying save money, outline budgeting principles. Specificity enhances credibility. Consistency builds influence. Publishing once generates limited reach. Sharing regularly builds recognition. Choose a manageable rhythm. Weekly articles, monthly talks, consistent updates. Repetition establishes authority gradually. Feedback improves quality. Encourage questions. Invite critique. Adjust content based on audience needs. Public contribution is iterative. Courage is required. Exposure invites vulnerability. Not everyone will agree. Some may criticize. Separate constructive feedback from noise. Focus on improvement rather than validation. Authenticity strengthens connection. Share not only success, but process. Discuss challenges honestly. Transparency builds trust. Knowledge sharing also reinforces your own discipline. When you teach principles publicly, you feel responsible to practice them privately. Public accountability strengthens personal integrity. Leverage appropriate mediums. Written communication suits analytical frameworks. Video enhances personal connection. Speaking builds real-time engagement. Choose formats aligned with your strengths. Avoid overcomplication. Simplicity increases adoption. Break complex ideas into digestible segments. Use structured progression. Documentation creates legacy. Written work, recorded lectures, and digital content persist beyond your immediate presence. Years later, someone may discover your insights and benefit. Collaboration expands reach. Co-create content. Participate in discussions. Join panels. Shared platforms multiply exposure. Protect depth over popularity. Viral content may attract attention, but meaningful content builds long-term respect. Prioritize substance. Ethics matter. Cite sources when necessary. Avoid misrepresentation. Integrity preserves credibility. Encourage application. Knowledge without implementation remains abstract. Provide exercises. Suggest experiments. Promote action. Measure impact qualitatively. Feedback messages. Improved outcomes reported by others. Influence may not always be visible numerically. Be patient. Influence compounds slowly. Early contributions may feel unnoticed. Continue. Authority builds through sustained effort. Remain a learner. Public sharing does not eliminate the need for growth. Continue studying. Update perspectives. Evolving knowledge sustains relevance. Balance humility with confidence. Present insights clearly without arrogance. Acknowledge limits where appropriate. Public knowledge contribution transforms identity. You become a resource, a reference point, a catalyst. It also strengthens communities. Shared frameworks elevate collective competence. Conversations improve. Standards rise. Over time, your words may travel further than you anticipate. A blog post may inspire a career shift. A lecture may influence a decision. A video may clarify confusion. You may never witness all outcomes. Commit intentionally. Package your knowledge. Share consistently. Improve continuously. Because when knowledge is distributed, impact multiplies. And when impact multiplies, your contribution extends beyond personal circles into broader influence. That influence becomes part of your enduring legacy. Chapter 5. Strengthening local communities intentionally. Legacy is not only built on large stages. It is built in neighborhoods, in small businesses, in local schools, in community halls, in everyday interactions that rarely make headlines, but shape daily life. While global impact is admirable, local impact is immediate. It is visible. It is tangible. Strengthening your local community intentionally transforms your environment from a place you merely live into a place you actively build. Communities thrive when individuals take responsibility beyond personal boundaries. It is easy to complain about local issues, infrastructure problems, lack of opportunity, limited resources. It is harder and more meaningful to contribute toward solutions. Intentional support begins with awareness. Understand the needs of your community. What challenges persist? Youth unemployment? Educational gaps? Environmental neglect? Small business struggles? Awareness precedes action. Supporting local businesses is one of the simplest yet most powerful acts of community strengthening. When you purchase from local vendors rather than defaulting exclusively to large corporations, you circulate economic value within your own ecosystem. That revenue supports families, creates jobs, and sustains neighborhood vitality. Conscious consumption becomes contribution. Community involvement also includes participation. Attend local events. Support cultural initiatives. Volunteer for neighborhood improvement programs. Presence communicates care. When residents show up, cohesion increases. Cohesion builds resilience. Mentorship at the local level multiplies opportunity. Guiding students in nearby schools. Offering career insights to young professionals. Providing workshops in practical skills. These actions directly influence upward mobility within your community. Financial contributions can also be localized. Funding community projects, sponsoring educational programs, or supporting health camps creates visible outcomes. Smaller targeted efforts often produce measurable impact faster than distant large-scale donations. Engagement strengthens social capital. When neighbors know one another, trust increases. Trust reduces isolation. Isolation weakens communities. Simple actions like introducing yourself, checking on elderly residents, or participating in local discussions build relational infrastructure. Community resilience depends on collaboration. Identify local leaders. Coordinate efforts rather than duplicating them. Shared vision amplifies results. Collaboration prevents fragmentation. Advocacy plays a role. Voice constructive concerns through appropriate channels. Attend town meetings. Provide feedback respectfully. Civic participation ensures representation. Encourage skill-sharing networks. Someone skilled in finance can guide budgeting workshops. Someone experienced in technology can assist digital literacy initiatives. Shared competence elevates collective capability. Youth development deserves particular focus. The future strength of a community lies in its next generation. Support sports programs, creative initiatives, and academic mentorship. Positive engagement reduces destructive patterns. Environmental responsibility strengthens neighborhoods physically and psychologically. Organize cleanup drives. Promote sustainable practices. Green spaces enhance well-being. Community strengthening requires patience. Results may not appear immediately. Infrastructure improves gradually. Cultural shifts take time. Persistence sustains progress. Avoid performative involvement. Genuine care differs from visible participation solely for recognition. Contribute quietly when possible. Conflict may arise within communities. Differing opinions, cultural tensions, generational gaps. Approach disagreement constructively. Dialogue fosters understanding. Diversity enriches communities. Embrace varied perspectives. Inclusive environments strengthen innovation and harmony. Emergency response preparedness enhances resilience. Participate in disaster preparedness programs. Strong communities respond collectively during crises. Support local education systems. Offer guest lectures. Donate books. Provide career guidance. Education shapes long-term stability. Encourage entrepreneurship. Promote local startups. Offer mentorship. Entrepreneurship drives economic vitality. Celebrate community achievements. Recognizing positive developments reinforces morale. Morale sustains engagement. Protect local heritage. Cultural preservation maintains identity. Identity fosters pride and belonging. Balance involvement with sustainability. Overcommitment leads to burnout. Choose focused initiatives aligned with your strengths. Your presence matters more than you realize. A single individual committed to improvement can influence others to act. Momentum builds gradually. Communities are ecosystems. When one component strengthens, others benefit. Economic stability supports education. Education supports employment. Employment supports health. Think generationally. Improvements you support today may benefit families decades later. Infrastructure, education, culture, these outlast individual lifetimes. Ultimately, strengthening local communities intentionally transforms legacy from abstract concept into lived reality. You're not only building personal success, you're shaping the environment others inherit. Commit to your surroundings. Invest attention. Offer skill. Provide support. Engage consistently. Because when communities thrive, individuals thrive. And when you help build a resilient, supportive, and opportunity-rich environment, your contribution becomes woven into the daily lives of many, quietly, steadily, and meaningfully. Chapter 6. Practicing Everyday Acts of Kindness. Legacy is often imagined as something grand. Institutions built, scholarships funded, movements led. But some of the most powerful impacts in life are quiet and immediate. A kind word spoken at the right moment. A small gesture offered without expectation. A moment of patience when frustration would have been easier. Everyday acts of kindness may seem small in isolation, but repeated consistently, they shape character, relationships, and culture. Kindness is not weakness. It is disciplined empathy. It is the ability to remain considerate even when you are busy, stressed, or distracted. Anyone can be kind when it is convenient. True character is revealed when kindness requires effort, when someone is difficult, when a situation is tense, when you gain nothing tangible in return. Begin with awareness. Notice opportunities to improve someone's moment. Hold the door. Offer appreciation. Acknowledge effort. Express gratitude sincerely. These gestures cost little but create disproportionate emotional impact. Many people carry invisible burdens. Your small act may lighten a weight you cannot see. Kindness strengthens relationships quietly. Trust deepens when people feel valued. Emotional safety grows when interactions are respectful. Over time, consistent kindness builds a reputation of reliability and warmth. People remember how you made them feel more than what you achieved. Compassion in conversation is powerful. Listening attentively without interrupting. Validating someone's concern before offering advice. Choosing words carefully during disagreement. These actions transform conflict into understanding. Kindness does not eliminate boundaries. It strengthens them through respect. Generosity of interpretation is another form of kindness. Instead of assuming negative intent, consider alternative explanations. Perhaps someone is stressed. Perhaps they misunderstood. This mindset reduces unnecessary resentment. It preserves relationships. Kindness also requires self-control. Reactivity is easy. Patience is deliberate. When irritated, pause before responding. A measured response prevents escalation. Emotional discipline is kindness in action. Support during difficult times defines depth of character. Checking in on someone grieving. Offering assistance quietly. Being present without trying to fix everything. Presence itself is healing. Anonymous kindness holds particular strength. Paying for someone's meal discreetly. Leaving encouraging notes. Contributing without revealing identity. When kindness seeks no recognition, authenticity increases. Teach kindness by modeling it. Children and younger individuals absorb behavior through observation. When they see patience, respect, and empathy consistently, those traits embed within them. Kindness towards service workers reflects integrity. Politeness regardless of status. Respect regardless of hierarchy. Character is most visible in interactions where power imbalance exists. Forgiveness is an advanced form of kindness. Holding grudges prolongs negativity. Releasing resentment restores emotional peace. Forgiveness does not excuse harmful behavior. It frees you from ongoing emotional burden. Small, consistent kindness also improves mental health. Helping others triggers positive emotional responses. Fulfillment increases when you contribute to others' well-being. Kindness must coexist with boundaries. Saying no respectfully protects your energy while maintaining dignity. Overextending without balance can lead to resentment. Sustainable kindness requires self-care. Cultivate daily rituals of kindness. Send a message of appreciation. Offer constructive feedback kindly. Smile intentionally. Repetition transforms isolated acts into identity. Kindness during success demonstrates humility. Share credit. Recognize collaborators. Celebrate others' achievements genuinely. Competition weakens unity. Kindness strengthens it. Kindness during failure demonstrates resilience. Encourage others when outcomes fall short. Offer perspective rather than criticism. Support accelerates recovery. Leadership grounded in kindness commands loyalty. Teams respond positively to respect. Authority without empathy creates fear. Empathy with authority builds commitment. Kindness ripples. One considerate action influences behavior forward. Someone treated respectfully may extend the same courtesy to another. Cultural tone shifts gradually through repeated interactions. Be mindful of tone in digital communication. Written messages lack facial expression. Choose words that avoid misinterpretation. Clarity combined with courtesy prevents unnecessary friction. Remember that kindness does not require perfection. You will have moments of impatience. Reflect, adjust, continue. Progress matters more than flawlessness. In fast-paced environments, slowing down to act kindly requires intention. Intentionality strengthens habit. Over years, your pattern of everyday kindness becomes part of your legacy. People may forget specific details, but they will remember consistency. They will remember feeling respected in your presence. Ultimately, everyday kindness transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful contributions. It humanizes success. It elevates environments. It builds trust and belonging. Practice it daily. Guard it carefully. Extend it generously. Because while grand achievements may define headlines, it is consistent kindness that defines how you are remembered, quietly, deeply, and enduringly. Chapter 7. Creating work that outlives you. Most work is designed for immediacy. Deadlines, quarterly targets, short-term recognition. But legacy thinking shifts perspective. It asks a different question. Will this still matter when I am no longer present to maintain it? Creating work that outlives you requires intentional design. It requires building systems, ideas, and structures that sustain themselves beyond your direct involvement. Begin with mindset. Temporary effort produces temporary results. Sustainable impact requires foresight. Instead of asking how to complete a task efficiently, ask how to design it so that it continues functioning without constant supervision. Systems thinking becomes essential. Document processes. Standardize workflows. Build structures that others can follow. Knowledge documentation is foundational. Many individuals accumulate expertise but never formalize it. When knowledge remains in your head, it disappears with you. Write frameworks. Record procedures. Create manuals. Codify lessons. Organized knowledge becomes transferable. Transferability ensures continuity. Build teams rather than dependence. If all progress relies solely on your presence, sustainability weakens. Train others. Delegate meaningfully. Empower successors. Leadership measured by dependency is fragile. Leadership measured by replication is enduring. Projects should solve problems beyond personal gain. Identify issues that persist across generations. Education access, financial literacy, skill development, environmental responsibility. Work aligned with enduring needs sustains relevance. Long-term thinking also involves quality. Shortcuts may produce quick results, but reduce durability. Invest in depth. Build carefully. Structure thoroughly. Excellence increases longevity. Intellectual property can become legacy. Books, research papers, educational content, digital platforms. These artifacts remain accessible long after active involvement ends. Creating thoughtful content multiplies influence across time. Institution building represents another path. Foundations, training programs, mentorship networks. Organizations with strong governance and values outlast founders. Governance matters. Clear mission statements and ethical frameworks preserve direction. Cultural contribution also lasts. Tradition started. Values reinforced. Community standards established. Culture persists through repetition. Model behaviors you wish sustained. Financial planning supports sustainability. Allocate resources strategically to ensure projects remain funded beyond initial enthusiasm. Endowments, recurring revenue streams, and diversified support strengthen continuity. Measure impact carefully. Longevity requires evaluation. What works? What fails? Adjust early to prevent systemic weaknesses. Innovation combined with tradition creates resilience. Preserve core values while adapting methods to evolving environments. Rigidity reduces longevity. Thoughtful evolution strengthens it. Mentorship integrates into legacy creation. Those you train carry forward principles and skills. Their work extends your impact organically. Ethics remains central. Work that compromises integrity may generate temporary success, but collapses over time. Integrity sustains credibility across generations. Consider scalability. Can your idea expand without losing quality? Systems that scale multiply impact. Documentation ensures clarity. Clear vision statements. Defined objectives. Structured roadmaps. These guide successors when you're absent. Community involvement enhances sustainability. When multiple stakeholders feel ownership, continuity strengthens. Shared responsibility reduces reliance on one individual. Technology offers tools for preservation. Digital archives, online courses, recorded lectures, distributed platforms extend reach. Balance ambition with realism. Grand visions require phased implementation. Gradual scaling prevents collapse. Reflect periodically. Is this work aligned with long-term mission? Adjust when necessary. Legacy building is dynamic. Patience defines durable creation. Quick recognition may not accompany foundational work. Commit anyway. Years later, stability reveals its value. Your daily habits contribute indirectly to longevity. Discipline, consistency, reliability. These traits influence quality of output. Resist ego attachment. Allow successors to adapt systems without feeling threatened. Legacy evolves. Encourage feedback loops within projects. Continuous improvement sustains relevance. Think generationally. How will this serve people 10, 20, 50 years from now? Design accordingly. Remember that longevity requires resilience. Economic shifts, social changes, technological advances adapt proactively. Ultimately, creating work that outlives you transforms effort into inheritance. You're not merely producing output. You are constructing foundations. Commit to durability. Invest in systems. Share knowledge. Empower successors. Uphold integrity. Because when your work continues benefiting others long after you step away, impact becomes timeless. And timeless impact defines legacy beyond individual lifespan. Chapter 8. Teaching the next generation practical skills. Every generation inherits two things: the consequences of the past and the preparation of those who came before them. You cannot control every circumstance the next generation will face, but you can influence how prepared they are to navigate it. Teaching practical skills is one of the most powerful forms of legacy because it equips others with tools that generate independence, stability, and confidence long after you're gone. Knowledge passed forward multiplies. When you teach someone how to manage money, communicate effectively, think critically, or solve problems, you're not giving them a temporary advantage. You're giving them a framework for life. Practical education creates autonomy. Autonomy builds resilience. Start with financial literacy. Many adults struggle not because they lack income, but because they were never taught how to manage it. Teach budgeting. Explain compound interest. Demonstrate saving discipline. Clarify the difference between assets and liabilities. Show how small, consistent habits create long-term security. Financial understanding reduces future anxiety dramatically. Time management is equally critical. Teach prioritization. Show how to break large tasks into manageable steps. Model focus without constant distraction. Young individuals absorb behavior more than instruction. Demonstrate structured routines. Communication skills shape opportunity. Teach clarity. Encourage confident expression. Practice active listening. Guide them on resolving disagreement respectfully. Strong communication opens doors across industries and relationships. Critical thinking is essential in a world saturated with information. Encourage questioning. Analyze assumptions. Distinguish evidence from opinion. Teach them how to research and verify. Independent thinking protects against manipulation. Emotional regulation must be taught deliberately. Show how to pause before reacting. Discuss healthy coping mechanisms for stress. Model calm responses during conflict. Emotional intelligence strengthens leadership potential early. Teach problem-solving practically. Present real-world scenarios. Discuss potential solutions. Evaluate consequences. Encourage decision-making rather than constant dependence on guidance. Introduce career exploration early. Explain different industries. Share experiences transparently. Help them understand skill development pathways. Exposure broadens ambition. Encourage reading. Books expand vocabulary, imagination, and perspective. Recommend diverse material. Discuss ideas. Intellectual curiosity fosters adaptability. Teach digital responsibility. Explain the permanence of online actions. Guide mindful technology use. Promote digital minimalism habits early. Life skills matter equally. Basic cooking, household management, health awareness. These practical abilities create independence. Mentorship within family and community amplifies teaching. Regular conversations create safe environments for questions. Model work ethic, consistency, discipline, reliability. Actions teach more powerfully than lectures. Encourage goal setting. Help them define short-term and long-term objectives. Review progress periodically. Failure must be normalized. Teach that setbacks are part of growth. Share your own mistakes openly. Teach generosity and responsibility. Encourage volunteering. Involve them in contribution. Respect individuality. Guide without imposing identity. Support strengths while addressing weaknesses constructively. Expose them to diverse environments. Travel locally. Visit institutions. Attend workshops. Experience broadens mindset. Encourage networking early. Introduce them to professionals. Build confidence in conversation. Teach health fundamentals. Exercise, sleep, nutrition. Long-term vitality depends on early habits. Promote accountability. Encourage ownership of actions. Avoid rescuing from every mistake. Celebrate effort. Reinforce progress. Encourage creativity. Allow exploration of arts, writing, innovation. Teach negotiation skills. Assertiveness balanced with respect. Instill ethical clarity. Integrity must be foundational. Model lifelong learning. Demonstrate curiosity. Protect psychological safety. Encourage open dialogue. Correct privately. Praise publicly. Be patient. Growth is gradual. Teaching practical skills is not a single conversation. It is a consistent process. Daily interactions become lessons. Observed behavior becomes blueprint. Years later, the next generation may navigate challenges confidently because of frameworks you provided. They may avoid financial mistakes. They may lead with emotional maturity. They may build stable families and strong communities. And when they teach those same principles forward, your influence multiplies silently. Commit to instruction. Model discipline. Share knowledge generously. Encourage independence. Because equipping the next generation with practical skills is not just teaching. It is constructing stability beyond your lifetime. It is embedding wisdom into the future. And that embedded wisdom becomes one of the strongest forms of legacy you can leave behind. Chapter 9. Designing your personal legacy blueprint. Most people drift into legacy accidentally. They live reactively, respond to circumstances, pursue opportunities as they appear, and hope that, in the end, their life will have meant something. But hope is not a strategy. If you want your life to leave a meaningful imprint, you must design it deliberately. A personal legacy blueprint is not about ego. It is about clarity. It is about defining the principles, contributions, and impact you want associated with your name, and then aligning your daily actions accordingly. Begin with reflection. If your life ended decades from now, what would you want people to say about you? Not your job title, not your possessions, but your character, your influence, your values. Would they describe you as generous, disciplined, principled, supportive, courageous? Clear thinking begins with honest introspection. Legacy is not built on what impresses strangers. It is built on what shapes lives. Clarify your core values. Values act as your internal compass. Integrity, responsibility, service, excellence, loyalty, growth. Without defined values, decisions become inconsistent. With defined values, decisions gain coherence. Write them down. Narrow them to a few non-negotiables. These become the foundation of your blueprint. Next, define your contribution domains. What do you want to create impact? Family, profession, community, education, mentorship, innovation. You cannot excel everywhere. Focus intensifies influence. Select areas aligned with your strengths and convictions. Your blueprint must include character standards. How will you behave under pressure? How will you respond to failure? How will you treat those who cannot benefit you? Character consistency determines legacy strength. Achievements may fade. Character stories endure. Identify the skills you must cultivate to support your legacy goals. If you aim to mentor effectively, develop communication and empathy. If you want to build lasting systems, strengthen strategic thinking. If financial contribution is part of your plan, master disciplined wealth management. Blueprint without skill development remains aspiration. Establish measurable milestones. Contribution goals should not remain abstract. Fund a scholarship. Mentor a certain number of individuals. Launch a community initiative. Publish structured knowledge. Specific objectives transform intention into execution. Time allocation reveals priority. Examine your calendar. Does it reflect your legacy intentions? If mentorship matters but receives no time, alignment is missing. Adjust deliberately. Create documentation. Write a personal mission statement. Outline guiding principles. Document long-term goals. Written clarity enhances accountability. Share your vision selectively with trusted individuals. Externalizing intention strengthens commitment. It also invites collaboration. Revisit and refine periodically. Legacy design evolves as life progresses. Update your blueprint as responsibilities and opportunities shift. Adaptation strengthens relevance. Consider financial architecture within your blueprint. Will you create endowments? Allocate resources to causes? Structure long-term giving plans? Financial clarity strengthens sustainability. Think generationally. How will your values transfer to the next generation? What lessons must be communicated clearly? Document them. Anticipate obstacles, distraction, fatigue, fear, social pressure. Develop strategies to maintain alignment despite challenges. Align professional goals with legacy principles. Avoid success that contradicts values. Achievement without integrity weakens long-term impact. Evaluate current behaviors honestly. Are daily habits reinforcing your intended legacy? Integrity requires adjustment when misalignment appears. Cultivate patience. Legacy is built slowly. Daily consistency outweighs dramatic gestures. Resist comparison. Your blueprint is personal. It need not mirror others' paths. Balance ambition with humility. Aim high, but remain grounded. Teach your blueprint indirectly through example. Consistent action communicates vision more powerfully than explanation. Accept that not everyone will understand your focus. Stay committed regardless. Integrate gratitude into your plan. Appreciation sustains motivation. Protect mental and physical health. Sustainable impact requires vitality. Design succession where applicable. If building projects, ensure continuity. Live in accordance with your blueprint now, not later. Delay weakens momentum. Over years, alignment compounds. Small intentional actions accumulate into coherent identity. Your life begins to feel integrated rather than fragmented. And when others observe your consistency between words and actions, between intention and behavior, they recognize authenticity. A personal legacy blueprint transforms life from reactive progression into intentional construction. It ensures that the impact you leave is not accidental but deliberate. Design it thoughtfully, write it clearly, live it daily, because legacy is not something discovered at the end. It is something constructed step by step, decision by decision, long before anyone summarizes your life. Chapter 10. Living with Integrity Daily. In the beginning of life, you focus on building competence, skills, credentials, stability, security. You learn how to win, how to compete, how to advance. But as the years pass, something deeper becomes more important than achievement. It is alignment. Alignment between what you say and what you do, between what you believe and how you behave, between what you promise and what you deliver. That alignment is integrity. And integrity is the foundation of lasting legacy. Integrity is not situational. It does not appear only when convenient. It is revealed under pressure, when cutting corners would be easier, when dishonesty would go unnoticed, when compromise might produce short-term gain. Those are the moments that define you quietly. Reputation may be built publicly, but integrity is built privately. Living with integrity daily begins with clarity of values. You cannot act consistently if you do not know what you stand for. Define your non-negotiables. Honesty, responsibility, fairness, respect, discipline. These are not abstract ideals. They are operational standards. When faced with decisions, ask, does this align with my principles? If the answer is no, no external reward justifies it. Integrity requires courage. There will be moments when speaking truth carries risk, when standing firm invites opposition, when declining participation in unethical behavior isolates you temporarily. Courage sustains integrity during those moments. Without courage, values become conditional. Consistency builds trust. When your actions remain predictable and principled across contexts, people feel secure around you. They know your standards will not shift depending on audience. Trust accumulates slowly but can be lost quickly. Guard intentionally. Integrity also applies to self-commitments. When you promise yourself to improve, to maintain discipline, to show up prepared, follow through. Breaking personal promises weakens internal confidence. Keeping them strengthens self-respect. Transparency reinforces credibility. Admit mistakes promptly. Correct them without deflection. Accountability demonstrates maturity. Blame shifting erodes respect. Integrity in communication matters profoundly. Avoid exaggeration. Avoid manipulation. Speak clearly and truthfully. Precision in words reflects precision in character. Financial integrity builds silent strength. Honest dealings. Transparent transactions. Ethical growth. Money earned with integrity sustains peace of mind. Professional integrity elevates leadership. Decisions grounded in fairness, even when inconvenient, inspire loyalty. Teams follow leaders who act ethically. Personal relationships require integrity as well. Loyalty, respect, keeping confidences, acting consistently regardless of mood. Relationships thrive on trust. Integrity also demands humility. Acknowledge limitations. Avoid pretending expertise beyond competence. Authenticity builds credibility. Resist rationalization. The mind easily justifies minor compromises. It's only once. Everyone does it. Small breaches accumulate. Protect standards even in minor situations. Emotional integrity requires alignment between internal feeling and external expression. Suppressing truth excessively creates resentment. Express respectfully but honestly. Integrity influences legacy more deeply than achievement. Achievements may fade from memory. Character stories endure. People remember how you treated them during difficult times. They remember fairness during conflict. Practice self-reflection regularly. Evaluate actions against values. Adjust when misalignment appears. Continuous correction preserves consistency. Avoid double standards. Apply the same expectations to yourself that you apply to others. Teach integrity by example. Younger generations observe behavior more than instruction. Model honesty visibly. Protect confidentiality. Trust entrusted to you is sacred. Decline opportunities that violate principles, even if financially attractive. Long-term peace outweighs short-term gain. Integrity also means honoring commitments. Arrive on time. Deliver as promised. Reliability reinforces trust. In leadership roles, fairness matters. Decisions should be transparent and principled. Integrity simplifies life. When values guide decisions, confusion decreases. You do not constantly negotiate morality. Clarity replaces anxiety. Over time, living with integrity builds silent respect. People may not praise you loudly, but they rely on you. They trust your judgment. They seek your guidance. And when your career concludes, when titles fade, when positions change, what remains is reputation rooted in integrity. Legacy is not constructed through perfection. It is constructed through consistency, through repeated alignment between word and action. Live deliberately. Speak honestly. Act consistently. Correct mistakes quickly. Guard your standards. Because in the end, success may impress people, but integrity earns their respect. And respect endures far beyond accomplishment. When your life reflects unwavering alignment, your influence extends beyond your presence. And that enduring influence, grounded in daily integrity, becomes the final, unshakable foundation of your legacy. In the beginning, life is about building yourself. Strength, skills, security, stability. But eventually, life becomes about something greater. Contribution. Because the most fulfilled people are not those who accumulated the most. They are the ones who gave the most value, who lifted others, who created opportunity, who shared wisdom, who stood for principles, who lived with integrity. Legacy is not about fame. It is about impact. It is about the people who say, "My life is better because you were in it." One day, your work will stop, but your influence may not. Your kindness may continue in someone else's actions. Your teaching may shape someone's decisions. Your example may inspire someone's courage. And when that happens, you realize something powerful. Success feels good, but significance feels deeper. Because the ultimate goal of life is not just to win, it is to matter. And now the question is not whether you will leave something behind. You will. The real question is, will it be accidental or intentional?